Dun, 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 dun. It is Superman Day. Superman Day is here. I don't know why we haven't had a Superman Day before now, but we haven't. This Superman Day, what I want to do is give you an overview of what's been happening in Superman comics, give you a catch up on Superman. And I want that to start back when Superman All In began. Now, Superman All In started in Superman number 19. Now, we had this glorious setup right now where Superman is written by the great Josh Williamson, who has just been doing a great job. His Superman is a joy to read. We've had him since the renumbering that we got with Superman number 1. And he wrote a number of books along the way, but now we're at Superman 19. Superman 19 is the beginning of All In. It picks up right after Absolute Power. Now, if you'll recall, the end of Absolute Power, a little bit of weirdness took place. And one of the weird things that took place is that people's powers just jumped around all over the place. Well, guess who has powers? And we don't know exactly where the powers came from. We're assuming that it came from this new thing. Lois Lane has powers. She has the same powers as Superman. And I love this. This happens every once in a while. I don't know if you remember, but in All-Star Superman back in the day, there was some sort of potion or something that she was able to take and get powers for a day. And I kind of love those stories. The idea of Lois Lane being able to fly around with Superman and do her thing, that sounds awesome. But here's the trick. These powers have come from somewhere else. Now, it's not that new powers magically appeared with the absolute power thing. It's that people's powers got mixed up and one person's powers went to another person and they were all mixed up. So what is going on with Lois Lane's powers? Don't worry. We still have Lana. She just has a red costume and she's Superwoman red, but we have Big Blue Superwoman and that's Lois. And they're good with that. There's a really great origin story that's told in the Superwoman special. The Superwoman special, we get a little more detail on exactly what happened and how we got here with Lois Lane getting powers. Now, by the way, I don't know if I've told you this, but this is going to be spoilerific. I'm going to take you all the way through the issue that I have read, which is Superman 24. There's going to be a big double-sized issue for Superman 25, and that's a part of the Summer of Superman. And just get ready for that. But leading up to it, this is what's been going on. So we've got Lois Lane. She's got her powers, and we're just enjoying. We get to enjoy watching this couple, and I just love Superman Lois stuff. I think Superman Lois together are just so much fun. I like Superman with a family. I like Superman being hopeful and joyful. These are all the right things. Joshua Williamson does it very well. In this time, Lex Luthor has lost all of his memories and he's not in jail. He helped out a little bit during some of the crises that have taken place. He was in jail, but he's out of jail and he's lost all of his memories. And some things happen along the way, but the big deal is when Lex Luthor stepped out of the picture, LexCorp turned into SuperCorp. So all of LexCorp's people now work for Superman, and they're working to proliferate the goodness that he has. And they're creating new technologies that can do things like evacuate Metropolis when there's a problem that comes up. There's also Steelworks, where Steel and Natasha Irons, so John Henry and Natasha Irons, they run Steelworks, and Steelworks is yet another place where they're advancing technology with John Henry and Natasha's expertise. And together, they're doing some really extraordinary things. They're still part of the super family. All of that still happens. So the corporations are good guys. Everybody's a good guy. Lex Luthor, even ultimately, no memory Lex ends up being a good guy. Well, Lex is starting to get his memories back. Slowly but surely. There was a Lex Luthor special where we needed Lex's help. Lex, turns out he was helping us with multi-dimensional blah, blah, blah. Who knows what that was? So there was multi-dimensional business taking place. And we needed Lex Luthor's help. So Mr. Terrific reached out. He got Lex to do some things. Lex's memory was just sort of easing back in. And No Memory Lex and Mercy, who actually runs SuperCorp, they've developed a relationship and they're a couple now. And as his memories start to return, Superman's a little bit worried. He was freed because this new guy that doesn't have any memories, he's pretty safe, right? He's pretty tame. Well, not when his memories come back. When his memories come back, he's freaking Lex Luthor. So what do you do with freaking Lex Luthor? You put him back in jail because he's not been exonerated for all the stuff. He only got out of jail in the first place because he couldn't remember anything. And there's no sense in punishing a dude for things he doesn't remember. Now that he remembers, put him back. So they put him back. Well, Mercy's very upset about this. She's been running SuperCorp all this time, and she's been wanting to weaponize some of the technologies, Phantom Zone technologies and Candor technologies to shrink things like Brainiac had. She's wanted to weaponize some of this stuff and test out those weapons. And apparently, she is in a little bit of a tiff with old Soups. And because she's in a bit of a tiff with old Soups, it is revealed that she actually has Metallo's body. She has Metallo body now. And in that Metallo body, she has kryptonite. And when Superman goes to confront her about weaponizing some of the technology, and he says, "You're fired," she's like, "You can't fire me because I got kryptonite." So her kryptonite thing pops open, and he's like, "Oh no, we got kryptonite." And Lois has kryptonite for the first time. And she's getting the kryptonite juju, whatever that is. But kryptonite bad, we know this. I just don't know what happens. I guess he's sick. They're both sick. So they're both getting kryptonited. And then Mercy's like, I knew you were going to do this to Lex. And the old Lex, he wasn't quite right. No Memory Lex, he wasn't the Lex that I wanted. I wanted the better Lex. So you know what I did? I made my own. So the very end of issue 24, these doors open up, and what has happened is that she has cloned Lex and made like a super Lex that's sitting in there. Who knows what's going to happen with that? That's what's coming in issue number 25. Now, there's one other major story arc that's been taking place, and this is actually the major antagonist-protagonist conflict that we've had from issue 19 all the way up to its conclusion in issue number 23. And that is, we had the Time Trapper show up. And it turns out the Time Trapper, who's been around for a long time, we've known who the Time Trapper is, and we've seen that Time Trapper. And the Time Trapper lives the edge of time and things. Well, Time Trapper came in and was like, "Superman, I need your help." And when he takes off his hood, because Time Trapper's face is hidden, he takes off his hood, it's Doomsday. It's like skinny, emaciated Doomsday is the Time Trapper. And the Time Trapper is asking Superman to do things with old Doomsday, because what happens is every time you kill Doomsday, he comes back and he evolves, so you can't kill him the way that you killed him the time before. So he's like, "I need you to do something to stop me in this thing so that I don't evolve to this other point," right? So he's trying to get Superman's help. Superman's not real sure about this. What he really wants to do is to jail Doomsday. And we have a couple of big fights with younger version Doomsday before he evolves to be Time Trapper. And we have a couple of big fights with those guys. And I mean, massive knockdown, drag out fights that take place. And then these people from way back in Hunter Prey, that Doomsday had devastated their entire civilization. They created a being by combining a bunch of their life forces that's called Radiant to take on Doomsday. And he teams up with Superman in order to take on Doomsday in that storyline. They come back and they're like, "Give us Doomsday." Now, Superman's defeated Doomsday and he's sort of in stasis. He's got a Starro sucker on his face and he's in some Doomsday dream. I guess he's just dreaming that he's beating up Superman all the time. So he's in stasis and he's like, "I'm not giving him up. Not going to happen. I'm afraid what you guys are going to do with him." And they're like, "No, you give us this guy or we're going to destroy your town." And he's like, "Not going to happen." Well, then there's a fight. There's a big old fight. The new Radiant, the new superpower that comes out of this group, he's like, "You know what? What if one person was killed in exchange while you were trying to defend Doomsday? Is that worth it? Is Doomsday worth that one life?" And they don't want to test it, but they're fighting these bad guys. Well, what happens is that Time Trapper pulls Lois Lane, pulls Superwoman out of the fight and says, your husband didn't listen to me. I said I needed his help. And she's like, no, I'm not doing it, because no matter what, you're still Doomsday and you're a bad dude. And this whole thing is about not helping out the bad dudes. So she's like, not going to help you. Clark didn't do it. I'm not going to do it. Nobody's helping you, big guy. So he drops her back in time. And right when that happens, Radiant is going after an innocent. And the innocent that Radiant is going after is Jimmy Olsen. And he attacks, and Jimmy Olsen gets severely injured. And Jimmy is now in the hospital in really bad shape. His girlfriend, who's been his girlfriend for a long time in the Superman stories, get this, Silver Banshee, Siobhan is her name, or Siobhan, I think. Anyways, so Silver Banshee, she's the girlfriend, and she is now the first arch nemesis for Superwoman. And she's that because she's ticked that she didn't protect Jimmy. So there you have it. Jimmy Olsen's jacked up. The reason he was out there in dangers and in harm's way, he's trying to get a picture of Superwoman. But he can't get a picture of Superwoman because everybody knows that it's Lois Lane. He certainly would know that it's Lois Lane. And she doesn't want a picture taken. So she's avoided it all this time. And it is what it is. He's an action journalist. He got actioned, and he got actioned good. So he's jacked up right now off to the sidelines. And Lois is sad about it. She's sad that's happening. It makes her enjoy having these powers a little bit less. And that's some bad news. Issue number 24, we get her first adventure with the Justice League, which is kind of fun to watch. So Lois Lane as Superwoman in a Justice League adventure, along with some other things that are happening in that Mercy storyline I just told you about. The one other thing, there's two other things I should tell you. One, when we first see Time Trapper, I think it's issue number 20, when he talks about this, he says to Superman, you still have your right eye, so I'm obviously here in the time when Zod hasn't come back yet. And we're just left with that. Now, I don't know how many people are going to remember this, but that was back in issue 20. We're now in issue 24. I'm not sure if that's going to stick in people's memories. It was just a throwaway line, but that's going to come back. And the reason I know it's going to come back is in the Superwoman special that took place, the very last page, we find out that Zod has lost his powers. Guess where those powers went? Those powers went to Lois Lane. Lois Lane has been flying around as Superwoman with General Zod's powers. So you better believe Zod's coming back. He's coming to get his stuff. And when he does, it's going to get real dodgy for old Soups. And we know that at least in this fight, he's going to take some serious injuries. And it sounds like he's going to lose an eye. That's what's happening. Now, we've seen people lose eyes before. I mean, it happened to Thor in the movies. And we've seen all that stuff. And that's fine. Whatever. Something's going to happen there. But I think that's a really cool carrot to dangle out there. We know Zod's coming. And we don't know when he's going to be here. But a really good Zod fight is good. So what Williams has done is in the last several issues, we got Doomsday fights. We got to use Brainiac's shrinking technology. That's how we got rid of the bad guys in the end. And how we got rid of Doomsday in the end is we shrunk them down like they were Kandor sized. And they're also in a little bit of a time dilation bubble. So they're moving real slow and they're super tiny. So we're good. We're just going to leave them there with their big fleet of ships and Doomsday. And we'll let them figure that out in due time, is what we'll say. We'll say in due time, we'll have to deal with them, but not right now. So great stories, great reading. Hopefully this gets you all caught up for the big issue number 25, the big special. It's going to be Super Lex versus Superman. And that should be a super fun issue to read. Now, also just coming out this week, we have the Superman Summer Special that came out. And remember, this is being released on Superman Day, but we have the summer of Superman. And we're going to get to enjoy more and more Superman. It is my favorite. So there's an old statue. There's a newer statue. He's holding up my books over here. Superman's all around me. You can't even see. There's Superman everywhere in my house. And he is my absolute favorite. Look at this. Superman right here. So we are all Superman all the time here. I'm so excited. I'm not sure why we didn't get a day before now, but Superman finally has his day, just like Batman had his day. All right. If you would like to get copies of any of these books, the upcoming Superman number 25, Superman 24 that I just laid out for you, the Superman summer special that is coming out right now, any of those, you can get those at your local comic shop, or we would love to have you with us at the Multiverse. I would love to have you come and order from us. You can do that at www.multiverse.shop. All right. Thanks so much. Keep reading comics.